Hey, this is Steve Halleck with TikToking.com. I'm back with another video review. Please check out my Instagram. I'm at Steve Halleck, SteveHallock. Check out the website, TikToking.com. And, keep looking at my YouTube videos. Today I've got a really cool watch. This is a Richard Mille RM55. It's the Bubba Watson piece. And this one is in white. So let me walk you through this. I really like this watch. You guys know that I love Richard Mille. If you've looked at my RM10 or RM2 videos, Richard Mille is the watch that really got me into sort of crazy watches. And I think this is one of the coolest newer pieces, especially without going to the kind of stratospheric money of the tourbillons and stuff like that that are now $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 or something ridiculous. This is also a lot of money and maybe too much for what it is, but at the very least it's super cool. So let's go through it. First of all, we got to talk about the white, right? Pretty unique to have a white watch, and especially a cool white watch. You've got like Chanel J12s and stuff like that, but most of us are not going to wear those. But this is a watch that I've really been enjoying wearing, and it's totally wearable. The material's pretty cool. This top plate is a high-tech ceramic. They have some name for it. It's like ATZP or something like that. But it's some sort of ceramic, and it's like a white matte finish. And then the side and the back plate are actually titanium that's coated in white rubber. Now, that's important. First of all, you can see that the white color matches pretty well, so you wouldn't really necessarily notice that it's two different materials. But what's really cool about it is that the ceramic up top is very hard, scratch resistant, should wear pretty well, and then the rubber coated titanium is actually really comfortable to wear. So this watch feels great on the wrist. It's got this cool like rubberized feeling, which is pretty neat. And then you can also notice that the white of it is like a super ultra crisp white. Especially this top plate is like, there's nothing off-white about it. It's a bright, crisp white. And I really like that. I think it's really wearable. It's an awesome summer watch. And you can see I've got it on a white strap. I've also got a black strap for it. But, why not go all the way white if you're going white? Same strap pretty much as on all the other Richard Milles. It's this vented rubber. It's one of the best straps out there. And, they use this buckle that actually started on the Chanel J12 and is made by a Chanel company called Chalence, I believe. We used to use these buckles with MB&F, and I think Max still does. But these are some of the coolest buckles. They're spring-loaded. They test them like 4 bajillion times to make sure they hold up to everyday use. So anyway, let's go through the watch. You can see basically the whole inside of the watch is just the movement. It's suspended via these 4 screws and the middle of the case, and the movement is the watch. This watch happens to be incredibly transparent, more so than almost any other Richard Mille, especially the non-tourbillon models. So you can see straight through to the table on almost all sides of the movement. You've got the balance wheel always going down here, so you've got some movement on the dial. You've got a sweep seconds hand, so you have the movement there too. And then check out when you wind it, these dual barrels wind, and you can actually check the state of the wind and watch it wind that way, which is pretty cool. So movement-wise, it does have 2 winding barrels. They're run in parallel, so it doesn't necessarily give you more power reserve, but it should make the power curve that's delivered to the escapement a little bit more linear and should help with timekeeping. And other than that, it's just a cool movement. The architecture is really cool. It's in this, I think they call it RCAP coated titanium, the bridges, and they've got this cool like white striping on them. And let's see from the back. From the back you get a really good view of the balance wheel, and again, the barrels here. and you can see also the level of transparency there. So size-wise, it's a really great size. It's, you know, the 4-screw case similar to the 11. It's a little bit thinner than the 11 is, but it's big. It's bigger than the 10 or you know, the cases that don't have these extra screws in there. So let me show it to you on the wrist. I always say every time I strap on a Richard Mille, there's no better watch on the wrist. You can see just like how amazingly the shape of the case hugs a wrist. Maybe it's just my wrist, I don't know. But there's something about a Richard Mille on the wrist that you just can't beat. So it's got a lot of wrist presence. The white is super cool. You can see the hardest thing to explain about Richard Milles is how much depth there is to the movement. So you can really see there's like a, you know, there's a lot of depth to play with here as the crystal curves. And sometimes with these watches that are super skeletonized, I find it a little bit distracting to see, like I don't want to see my hairy wrist necessarily all the time underneath, but this one does a good job of kind of shadowing it out. So you can tell that there's extra depth there, but I'm not just looking at my wrist hair for the whole time when I'm looking at the watch, which is important. But there it is. This is the RM55 Bubba Watson in white ceramic, and super, super cool watch. Okay, hope you enjoyed.